going to do a little bit of dyeing now, and so I just wanted to explain to you. So I mentioned that I order yarn from Nundle Woolen Mills, but you can try any other woolen mills. Bendigo Woolen Mills has undyed yarn. Just, yeah, in Australia you can do a search of any undyed yarn, and there's different woolen mills. I think there's one in Wangaratta, there's Nundle Woolen Mills, there's a few different ones. You can just search for them. So this is a 4-ply that I bought from them. Actually, no, it isn't. This is also a Spotlight yarn, and it was Baby Bliss 4-ply, so a baby yarn. It's actually beautiful and soft. So, and I just bought a plain cream color, and I'm going to dye that up. But when I buy the wool from Spotlight, it just comes like this, like a ball. And then I need to wind it up on a yarn winder, which I'll show you in a minute, into a long skein. And then I sort of wind it into this, which I'll show you how to do that later too, so that I can dye it when it's in this state, because you can't really dye it as a ball like that. It won't, the dye won't get through. Okay, so that's a 4-ply from Spotlight, but these ones here are from Nundle Woolen Mills. They're beautiful soft skeins, and I'm going to be dyeing these ones to sell. This is an 8-ply, and I have done, as I showed you, the 4-ply. So it's a little bit softer to the touch. If I touch the ones from Spotlight, they are soft, but they have a bit more of a rough texture, whereas this merino from Nundle Woolen Mills is just really, really soft and a little bit more expensive. So that's why I want to save these ones for dyeing and sewing, and these ones are more just for me, for making cushions at home or for my children. All right, so let's get the yarn winder out now, and I'll show you how I wind these into a hank like that. This is my skein winder. It comes in a box like that. I bought this many years ago, so I don't know if this exact one is still available. It's made in New Zealand, but you can actually buy them online as well. I bought this one from a craft show that was here in Brisbane many years ago. So it looks like that. When you open it up, it looks a little bit like an umbrella. So this is how it looks. It hooks onto the table, it screws on the side there, and then it's like a fold-out umbrella sort of thing. So you'll wind the yarn around the middle of it and then extend it up, which I'll show you that in a moment. I don't have anything to hold my phone, sorry, so I'll just have to show you this in stages. And then I can wind the yarn, or unwind it actually, because I'm unwinding it from a ball into a skein. So with any hobby like dyeing or crocheting, of course there's going to be some sort of expense. And if you're a young person still, at home, or if you're just starting out a hobby, you don't know if you're going to continue it, there's always affordable ways around things. Before I had this yarn winder for many years, I just used to use 2 kitchen chairs and wind up my yarn around the backs of 2 kitchen chairs and make them into a skein that way. And then, ball them up into a ball by hand. But over the years, I've collected some different materials, and it's made things a little bit easier. But don't feel like, you have to go out and buy all the most expensive equipment to start off your crochet journey, or even your dyeing. I tried dyeing maybe 6 to 8 years ago, and I just purchased like some cheap little dyes from the $2 bargain box shop that we have here locally, and I dyed them in my laundry bucket, my laundry tub, and they came out beautiful. And if you check my Instagram, go back about 6 years through my photos, you'll see some skeins there that I dyed up. I'll pop a photo of them in here. They were with just very, very cheap dyes. and I was able to make a whole, you know, queen size bedspread out of it. And again, I just bought the wool from Spotlight and over dyed it. So yeah, you don't have to buy the most expensive equipment. I want to make this tutorial and this journey with me with my yarn dyeing as simple as possible for anyone to learn, and for anyone to try it out if they want to. And you know, if you're only spending a little bit on things and then you decide this isn't for me, well then you haven't bought all this expensive equipment. So I'll show you how I wind the yarn up now. Wound the yarn around, tied a little, you can tie a knot or a bow. I put it in a bow because then I can undo it easier later. All right, and then this little clip here makes that go up. Extend it as high as it can go. I've probably made my bow a bit tight, so loosen that up a little bit. Extend that up. All right, and then all I'm going to do is just hold the yarn in one hand and spin this. And spin it around and around until it winds up all my wool. And there you go, that's nearly the 50 grams. And then when I get to the end, I just tie a little knot at the end like this. Again, with a sort of loop it in, so it's easy to come undone. And that's it. So there you've got it. So now if I loosen up my stand, take that off. Come on, get out of there. And there you've got, you know, a long skein like that. And there you've got your long skein now, instead of a ball that's ready to dye up. And so then I just put my fingers in here and the other side, and then start to twist and keep twisting until it's nice and tight. This is how I store them after I dye them. All right, twist it, and then if you let that go, it wriggles up like that. There is another way that I do that, but I'd have to show you. I'd have to get someone else to film for me. All right, so, and then twist, 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 twist. And you've got your nice little skein like that. Tuck in your little ends. So after they're dyed and dried, I'll store them this way. All right. And so they're ready for dyeing now. So when I go to the dye pot, I'll just undo that again. Untwist it. And dye them this way. First thing I do when I'm going to dye some wool is get all my equipment ready. So I've got some towels underneath and some hot plates. They're just like the ones you would use in a caravan, or you know, just a spare one that I picked up from Big W. I've got my kettle of hot water to mix my dyes. So I've got two of those and to dye two different colours. I'm going to be trying to match these today, just to finish off a cushion that I'm making, which you may have seen in one of my other videos. Got a spare pan there to put the skeins in when I want to rinse them, and then in a bucket I've actually put 7 skeins in there, just tied them with a zippy tie so that they're easy to pick up and get in and out of the hot water. And I soak them in the bucket for about half an hour with some cleaning vinegar like this, just from the from the supermarket, and so I put them in there. So I actually thought I had all the same colour Four Seasons yarn, which was the cream, but I can see some of them are white and some are cream. But once I over dye them, you won't know what colour they were before anyway, so that's all good for me. Maybe that's why I had a different effect on some of those last time, because I had some different shades of cream and white on there. Alright, so I'm just going to pop them now into the pan and mix up some colours. I'm going to pour a little bit of water in each pan, just at the bottom, so that the wool doesn't burn when it's heated up. Alright, and now I'll turn on my stove, and I turn up the dials full, which on here just says maximum, so I think it goes from 1 to 5 and then maximum, so I put them on maximum. Heat them up. Looks like that one needs a little bit more water in there, a little bit more in there. And then I'll pop my skeins in. So I'm not going for solid colours, I'm going for the variegated greens and pinks again. If I was going for a solid colour, I would put the dye in first so that it completely covers the skeins, but I don't want to do that. I want to leave some lighter shades and some whites in there. Alright, so I can fit about 3 50-gram skeins in there. Probably could fit more if I squished them in, but that's enough for me. And then I'll do 3 pink ones. 1, 2, and 3. And actually I might take one of these out because I want to make some lighter greens and darker greens, so I might do them separately. So I'll just leave them in there for the moment while I mix my colours. So the other day when I dyed with my daughter, remember I had some bluey greens, so I've still got a little bit of that left. I'm going to pour just a little bit of that in there. It ended up that she didn't really like that aqua green for her cushion, mixed with the more gum leaf colours. So, but I might just see how this looks on maybe one end. That is quite, yeah, it's not really the right green, if you can see there. Yeah, that's not the green that she wants. So the colours that we did do last time were alfalfa. They're coming out a little bit more bluish green than what I wanted. I wanted more of the gum leaf colours. And I'll just sort of pat that down. That's getting quite hot. Let me just grab a spoon. Push that down. Yeah, that's way too bluey. That's not the colour I was going for at all. Maybe that might be the darker one. Interesting colour, but not the colour I was going for. Alright, as I said, I'm just new to dyeing and I'm just experimenting. I should probably write these down so that next time I know which colours I used. But anyway, that's an interesting bluey green colour. So I've put a few other different greens in there. I've put in kelp again and some sugar cane, some mist, some mint, a little bit of salt marsh that I had left over. So let's turn those over now and just see how they go when we turn them over, what sort of combinations we can get. So we really want to get those more yellowy greens. That's a bit too dark, and these are a bit too bluey green, not what I was wanting. I mean, they're pretty, but not for this cushion that I'm making. It's really just experimenting. So what I've done is I've added a little bit more yellow. I think the colour I used was mango, and hopefully that'll make the greens a little bit lighter. I won't leave them in as long, and if I rinse them out, maybe they'll come out lighter than what they are, because I don't want them this dark. These are the skeins that have just dyed. You can see they've got some greens and yellows in there. And once I will wash them and rinse them out, they'll come out a little bit lighter, because I didn't leave them in for too long. There's some darker ones. They might not be the right shade for the cushion that I'm making. Because I didn't leave them as long, the water that was in the pan didn't run clear, so I had quite a bit left over, and I reused them in these jars so that I can dice them up next time. Some more solid coloured ones. Just leave them there to cool down. There's a bluey green one there and a sort of a green alfalfa one there. So we'll just dye some pink ones now. Skeins in there and one in here. And we're going to dye some pinks. What have I got in there? It looks like a little bit of red. Maybe left over from the other day, so I'll see if I can use that one. Let's have a look what colour that is. Nope, not pink. That one looks like it's a little bit more browny. Let's just have a look at that. Okay, that's sort of a lighter pink. Sort of a peachy pink. I can add some pink to that. So I'm just going to only put on a little bit. Just splash in different areas. And then I'll throw some speckles of pink over at the top of it. Give that a bit of a base to work with. Okay. And then in my dyes here, I've got some lipstick. So I'll use my spoon. They look a bit dark, Magnolia. What was that? Oh, that's a purple. All right, maybe we can, it's a little bit of purple to our pink one. That's it, I won't use anymore because I know she wants mainly pinks. All right, so we'll throw on some lipstick. Just sprinkle it with my fingers. A bit of lipstick on this one. And then just a few speckles of mango in between. So we get those little bits of yellow coming through the pink. I don't want to do too much pink and yellow because it comes out orange. And that's not what we want. Turn those back on. And that might be enough. So I've just put a little bit of lipstick and mango, a little bit of purple there. I don't know what that's going to do yet, but we'll see. And this one, just lipstick and mango. And that's all I'm going to put. Just sprinkle those on and leave them, let them cook and turn them over. And then we'll get the nice variegated pinks with a little bit of splashes of yellow through it. So they're just cooking now. I added a little bit of green on top of the purple. And a little bit of green on this one as well. So I'm hoping it doesn't get too greeny, but anyway, I just wanted to play around. I like to play around with it. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, I'll just get some more and dye what I need. I've been in there about 20 minutes now. I'm not going to wait for the water to clear, otherwise the whole skein will, be coloured, and I want to keep some of the white. And the same with this one here. I don't want that purple and green running into the pink, so I'm just going to take them out now and rinse them off, and then we'll go and wash them in the laundry tub. This is the one where I had the pink and the little bit of purple that I accidentally splashed on it. when I rinsed it out, everything went a horrible brown colour, which is not what I want at all. So I've put a whole heap of lipstick on there and a little bit of mango now, and just trying to dye that more a deeper pink and let that go a little bit longer. Two pinky yellow ones. So they're all right. I'm quite happy with those. They'll wash up quite nicely, and they'll be a little bit lighter than the pinks I've already got. Rinse that one out. So you've got some darker pinks, some oranges. It's not really showing the exact brightness of the colour there. So I rinse it with a garden hose just into this pan here, and then I save that water for the next dye. I don't like to tip that out. I like to recycle it. So we'll take that over to the other pan now and pour that in a jar. Well, our leftover jars, we've got what's that one? That's more of a pinky orange for next time. And that one's like an orange. So even though we use different colours and mix them together, we can get a nice base for the next lot of dyeing. And there's my greens in there. Earth Choice from Woolworths Wool and Delicates Wash. I put a little bit of, about a cupful of that in the laundry tub. And I'm just going to rinse off my skeins. I'll do the pink ones first and then the green ones separately. Pink one. So I'm just going to give them a little bit of a wash off. It just sort of loosens the fibres and softens them as well. And then each of them is going to go into just a small toiletry bag like that, and straight into the washing machine to wash. So then the last thing I do is put them all in the machine and pop it on a rinse cycle. So here we've got rinse and spin. Just on the quick wash and 13 seconds. Turn that on, and that will just rinse and spin those out. So all my skeins are dry now. I've just hung them up in the laundry. I had them on the line out in the sunshine yesterday, but I brought them in last night. So the last thing I'm going to do, they're not really tangled, but they do get a little bit crinkly towards the end. So I've got this steamer here, and it sort of acts like an iron but just below steam. And so what I do is I just run this over the fibres, just sort of relaxing them a little bit, and if there are any tangles they will come out. Run it up and down. If I had both hands, I'd be pulling them a bit down with my other hand as well. And that just relaxes the fibres so that I can wind them up into a skein. Okay, so that should be all right. The other way, as I said, is to whip them over your arm, but I didn't need to do that this time, so I'll save that for another video. And that's it.